Okay, this is Jerry Barrett. Today's date is June 4th, 1986. I'm talking by phone with Marv Amos. I'm in my home in Northern Virginia, and he's in Southern Virginia. Mr. Amos, you understand this conversation is being recorded?
Yes.
Okay. You said you had something more you wanted to tell me.
Yes. We had a program which is, I'm not sure where it originated. I think it came about because of Susan's capabilities. But what we did is that we put together, with her approval and of course Frank's, a program that was actually coordinated through a young lady in my office, whereby she would go to various cities and have lunch with the wives of the employees.
Oh, really? Uh-huh.
And we would arrange to place and establish a fee that we, in other words, for $4.50, $5. We never tried to get it over $5.
Mm-hmm.
And she would always take an officer's wife from Miami, and then the regional sales and service VP wife would meet her in the city, and so we would, and then generally Rita Sordell, who was from my office, would be there, who was coordinating.
Mm-hmm.
And we printed up invitations and would let the local manager in the city wife coordinate the activity. No men there at all. And she would have lunch with them, and they would locally arrange the table so that there was always a group of wives. Not all mechanics or not all pilots should be a pilot base, but a random selection of wives by various unions and occupations. And she would make a short presentation and then would answer questions.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
And then we had printed questions in which the wives could fill out and give to Susan at the end, and she actually met every wife that attended, either as they came in or as they left. And then we would prepare for her signature answers to all of the questions. And it turned out to be very, very successful. And even in some of the larger cities where the numbers were so great, then we would break them up and have all pilots or all airport personnel and all maintenance personnel, all of the people on the base.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a very, very successful program in letting the wives, have an opportunity to meet Susan and participate in and give Susan and, of course, top management, if there's any suggestion, their views on the company.
Mm-hmm.
And they turned out to be very, very well supported. I think that's important that be a report of one of the programs. I've never heard of such a program.
How long did that run?
I think it ran we would cut off during vacation periods, and we would cut off during high peak periods.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it ran for at least 2.5 years. I'm not, positive on that, but it was very successful.
Uh-huh. What period was that? Do you recall? How long ago was it done?
Let's see. Now 86, 84. I'd say from the girl went on to Flying the Line, Rita, who ran it. I'd have to say it must have been from 81 to 83.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
In that general period.
Hey, why did you pick that particular person to do it? Did she have some special skills along that line?
She's an outstanding lady, really,
Mm-hmm.
in her own way.
Uh-huh.
And it's hard to be recognized as an outstanding lady when she's married to, a person that, like Frank. flabbergasted. Of course, never attended, but I had the opportunity because of the coordination with in my office to see the answers and to see the questions and to make sure that we got all the answers back to Susan. And she didn't answer them as if she had all the information. The answers were so written and signed by her that she took the question and went to the proper people, and this is the answer.
Were the answers fairly similar to what you might get from employees?
I think rather softer. In other words, I think the wives seem to be more sympathetic to the problem and not as concerned with personalities or relationships between employees, but more concerned with the overall corporation. So I'd have to say that the questions were more like you'd expect from a wife.
Okay.
When we go into this city, or why did you cut back in a certain city? If she visited a city where we'd taken some flights out, they were very concerned about that and why. And not so much the question of you're taking part of our money or you're buying new aircraft. Generally, those types of personal type of questions.
Oh, okay. I see.
It was a very, very good program, and she carried it off very well.
Right. The invitations, were they given to anybody who really wanted to come, or?
What we did is that we would let the administration of where they would hold the luncheon to the local manager. And what he did, if it was a manager in the city, his wife was more or less a coordinator.
I see. Okay.
And then if we had a maintenance base there, and we had of course we'd have an IM group there, we would get the people, wives of the various managers, or any wife that someone may know locally that's sort of a go-getter, wouldn't have to be all management, to sort of arrange it. And there'd be a reception line to meet Susan and the officer's wife for that region, and the officer's wife that she had brought along. My wife went, I think, to a couple and enjoyed it very, very much. Very impressed with the attitude of the wives and the way Susan performed, and the number of questions, both while the sessions were going on, because we didn't hold them, for sessions after so long. They cut the questions off, and that's why we'd pass out cards. And they had name tags for everybody that would come in the door, and they paid their own way, so that the company wasn't supporting
Yes.
from that standpoint. So we could have been criticized for, paying for a dinner of those that could attend, because a lot of the wives could not attend because they worked.
Oh yeah.
So we didn't want that friction.
Yeah, you didn't want to make that distinction. Yeah.
But it was very, very successful.
Does Mrs. Borman have the similar kind of social skills to her husband?
Yes.
Okay.
Probably more graceful.
Oh, really? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, probably not as smooth in an interview, but probably in conducting a dinner or she's equal to him in that type.
I see. Okay.
She's a very, very fine lady, by the way.
Yeah, I've never met her.
Very, very down to earth. Easy to talk to. Very friendly. She's a super person. And we were using that ability, and it worked well.
I had asked Frank Borman about him being involved in the commercials, and asked him whether he was reluctant to do that at all. We chatted a little bit about that when I interviewed him. Was she at all reluctant to, sort of step out in front like that?
No, I don't think she'd be the type of person that would have come to, that she would have come and said, "Can I do it?" She doesn't take the aggressive approach. I'm not sure how it came about. I think it came about through a bull session that Frank and I was having in his office.
Oh yeah, okay.
I don't believe it was something that we sit down and planned out. I think we were just chatting and talking about Susan, and some way or another we got to the program.
Oh yeah, I see. I see.
I think he would, if I remember correctly. I'm not sure whether he asked her or whether I called her.
Uh-huh.
She's a very good friend of mine. I don't remember how we really established it. I'm sure that we didn't call her without Frank's okay, and I know it was he and I chewing the fat about it.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't recall. But it was very successful.
Yeah. Sound like an innovative idea, really, to involve the families.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't believe children's came. It came just wives.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think in some locations we had a question about if a working lady could come. It wasn't a big issue, but I think we would have let them come. See, what we didn't want is bring it to the operation. You follow?
No, I don't.
In other words, if we were going to a city where there were res offices,
Okay.
we would not solicit the women employees.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Then you're down to basic. My computer doesn't work.
Yeah. 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 You wanted the female spouses is what you really wanted.
That's what we were after.
Yes. Okay. I understand.
And we didn't want to put Susan in the operational phase of answering questions.
Yes.
Although she was asked them, but she gracefully would put the question down, or the person there is from my office. I think attended all of them would come back, and this Rita had a very good relationship with Susan and worked out the schedule with her. Actually, she actually run it. I wasn't a part of it. Frank wasn't a part of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The management employee, actually my administrative assistant, a young lady who was very, very qualified, respected by Sue. The two of them really, Susan really did the work. I didn't do anything administratively. She did it all. She would call directly to the manager and then talk with his wife.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's really interesting.
We sort of kept the operational phase. It was more of a family-wife relationship. Went very, very well, and I've never heard of it before.
I have not either.
Executive officer's wife going out on such an informal. She did a very fine job.
Huh? Well, I appreciate your thinking of that and letting me know that you had another story to tell me. That's really a very interesting program.
Well, I was just driving back the other day. I thought, gee, that was a very innovative program, and I think one that you couldn't pull off unless you had a wife like Susan.
Uh-huh. Yes.
The chief executive officer had a wife like Susan.
Right.
Who could pull it off.
Yeah.
There's still that relationship between a mechanic's wife and a woman's wife.
Yes.
But there isn't, as far as Susan's concerned,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which is an excellent characteristic.
Yes, it certainly is. Were you surprised by the announcement in the last day or so here about Frank Borman's retirement?
No, as I said when I talked to you, he's not a second man.
Yes. Okay. That's true. That's true. You did say that. Yeah.
I think it's damn nice that he's getting out there. I saw him on television. I haven't seen him for some time.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks 10 years older.
Yes.
Right, he's getting out.
Yes.
And I think it's the right time, and I think he can make a contribution on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Texas board. No, I am not surprised at all.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe that he would stay in any capacity on an day-to-day operational level.
Yes. Yeah.
He's bigger than that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I would think he would take it. And I don't think he'd be very good at it. Some of us could be second and third and fourth and fifth men. Some are better at number one.
Yes. Yes. That's true.
Better at number one.
Yes, that's certainly true. That's certainly true. Well,
I just wanted to be sure that important program during our troubled years was recognized. For whatever recognition any of it ever comes about.
Mm-hmm.
Or should, but I think it ought to be there. Because she deserves a lot of credit. She's a very, very fine person and made her contribution.
okay. Well, I sure appreciate your getting that story to me, as I think it should be a part of the interview.
Okay.
Okay, good talking to you. I'll be in touch. Okay, bye.